The Most Beloved Bedtime Stories for Kids. 30 Aesop Fables for Children, Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, Rapunzel, Beauty and the Beast, Hensel and Gretel, Cinderella, Little Mermaid, and many more. Written by Melanie Rose, Aesop, The Brothers Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen, Charles Perrault, Richard Johnson, and Gabrielle Susan Barbeau de Villeneuve. Narrated by Orlena Cain. Little Red Riding Hood. There once was a little girl whose father and mother loved her so dearly that they thought nothing too good for her. Her mother made for her the prettiest of little dresses, her stockings were of fine yarn, and there were bright buckles on her shoes. Her mother also made for her a little cloak and hood of red cloth, and the little girl looked so pretty in them that her mother called her Little Red Riding Hood instead of Mary, as she had been christened. Little Red Riding Hood had a grandmother who was so old that sometimes she lay in bed all day and felt too weak to get up. One day the mother called the little girl to her and said, "My child, I have put a pat of butter and some fresh eggs and a wheat cake in this basket. Take it and carry it to your grandmother. Run along quickly, and do not loiter nor stop to talk to anyone along the way, for I want you to get back before the afternoon is late." "Yes, dear mother," said the little girl, and she took the basket in her hand and set out for her grandmother's house. At first she ran along briskly and stopped for nothing, but the fields were full of pretty flowers. "I am sure," thought Red Riding Hood, "that my grandmother would be glad to have a bunch of daisies and buttercups." She began to pick one here and another there until she had quite a handful. Presently she heard feet padding along the path, and the old gray wolf came trotting by. "Good day, Red Riding Hood," said the wolf. "Good day," answered the child. "And where are you going this fine bright day with your basket on your arm?" "Oh, I am going to my grandmother's house. She is so old that sometimes she lies in bed and cannot get up, and I am taking her some butter and some fresh eggs and a wheat cake." "And where does your grandmother live?" "She lives over beyond the wood in a little white house with a thatched roof and green blinds, and the path runs straight there." The wolf had now learned all he cared to know. He bade Red Riding Hood goodbye and trotted on briskly. As soon as he came into the wood where Red Riding Hood could not see him, he began to gallop. On and on he galloped as fast as he could, for he was anxious to get to the little white house with the thatched roof and the green blinds before Red Riding Hood did. In the depths of the wood, a woodcutter was busy at his work. He saw the old wolf go hurrying by, and he wondered what he was after. "He's up to some mischief or other, and that is sure," said the woodcutter, and he shouldered his axe and followed on after the wolf to see what he was going to do. On went Mr. Wolf, and presently he came to the edge of the forest, and there stood the little white house with the thatched roof and green blinds, and the path led straight up to the door. So the wolf knew that must be where the grandmother lived. He stopped and looked all about him, for he did not want anyone to watch him. He saw no one, however, for the woodchopper had hidden behind some rocks. Then the wolf knocked on the door. Rap-tap-tap. Nobody answered, so he knocked again. Rap-tap-tap. Still no one answered, and there was no stir within the house, though the wolf cocked his ear and listened carefully. The wolf pulled the latch string, the latch flew up, and he pushed the door open and slipped inside. He looked about, and there was nobody there, for the old grandmother had been feeling stronger that day, so she had dressed and gone out to see a neighbor. The old wolf hunted about until he found the grandmother's bedgown. Then he pulled it on over his big hairy body. He tied on a big ruffled cap and put the grandmother's spectacles on his nose, and after that he crawled into bed and drew the coverlet up under his chin. The woodcutter outside wondered what the wolf was doing in the house, but he did not hear a sound, so he sat down to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?